You're right everybody, how you all doing? Now before we get into this video, two things. Firstly, I've got my fan on at the moment, so if you can hear that I do apologise. And secondly, Zeus is having an absolute field day, sitting on the sofa looking out the window and barking at absolutely everything that goes past my house. Even if nothing goes past my house and he thinks something went past my house, he is barking. So it's very, very likely that you're going to hear Zeus barking in the background. I did just take him for a walk, but that doesn't mean anything. He's still got plenty of energy. So just a word of warning, because every time he barks, it completely throws me off with what I'm talking about, as you probably noticed in my gaming videos. But what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be doing another channel update. Today it's going to be a channel update / life update, and I'm going to be talking about a variety of different things today. Some things I'm just talking about because I want to, and other things I'm talking about because they're part of the channel, and other things I'm talking about because they will affect the channel in the future. So there's going to be quite a lot of stuff I'm going to be talking about today, so I recommend you go and get yourself a drink or something, because I am going to be talking probably for about 30 plus minutes. So strap yourself in and get ready. But basically, for most of my life, every time it's got to the end of the year, if there is a specific thing that I have wanted to achieve and I haven't achieved it, I have looked back on the entire year negatively, and in my eyes it was a complete failure. Even if I was to achieve 50 minor things, 10 major things, but there was one specific goal that I wanted to achieve that I didn't, I would look back on the year negatively, and it really started to affect me mentally. So what I've been doing over the course of the last 3 or so years is, when it gets to about late December, early January, I've been setting myself very specific goals, normally 4 or 5, and as long as I achieve 1 or 2 of those goals, I look back on the year a bit more positively. For example, 2023 I had 4 goals. I managed to achieve 2 of them, so I was pretty happy with that year. 2024 I had 4 goals. I achieved all 4 of them, and despite there being a couple of bad moments last year, like losing Sammy and Honey my rabbit, it was a pretty damn good year. And this year I've set myself another 4 goals, and that's mostly what we're going to be talking about today, plus another thing that I want to talk about. So my 4 goals for this year was, firstly, to reach 10,000 subscribers. Secondly, to finish a 35-mile, 56.3-kilometre ultra marathon. To finally move out of my mum and dad's into a privately rented flat. And fourthly, is that a word, fourthly? It is now. Fourthly, to speak to a lady at work that I've been wanting to talk to probably for the past 2 or so years, and just thank her for a lot of things and just basically tell her what she means to me. And I've been having a lot of trouble doing it. So those are my 4 goals for this year. Now the first goal, 10,000 subscribers. We recently achieved that. I think I reached 10,000 subscribers either at the beginning of June or at the end of June. I'm not 100% sure. Despite setting 10,000 subscribers as one of my goals, I actually very rarely check my subscriber count. Normally it's like every 2 or 3 weeks I might look at the number and be like, oh, we've got another 100 subscribers this month or something like that. But yeah, at some point in June we finally reached the 5 digits, 10,000 subscribers. So that's one of the goals of this year completed. I'm not going to talk about that too much in this video because I already made a separate video about it back in July. So just check my channel and you'll see a video all about reaching 10,000 subscribers, why I started YouTube, why I do YouTube and all that good stuff. Now my second goal of this year was to do a 35-mile, 56.3 ultra marathon, and as you can see we recently completed it. Now this goal I was very, very worried about doing, because last year on Halloween after a couple of years off, I attempted a 30-mile, 48-kilometre ultra marathon, and I did it on Halloween. And even though I succeeded at doing it, it went really, really poorly. I had a massive blister on my left foot that exploded about 2/3 of the way in, and then I was walking a bit weirdly because obviously the pain in my left foot. So then I ended up with a really dodgy hip on my right side. My time ended up becoming really, really slow. It ended up being like 8 hours and 45 or 55 minutes to do 30 miles, 48 kilometers, and it just went horribly. And then after it, it took me probably, I think I took about 3 weeks to recover because I ended up with shin splints in one of my legs. It was an absolute disaster. So when I was going to attempt the 35 miles this year, I was really, really worried that I was just gonna not even finish. I was just gonna be in pain or something. But I also then ended up making it 10 times harder for myself, because when I decided to do the 35 miles in August, I then decided, well, as I'm going to be doing this at work like I normally do, I thought, you know what, why not try and raise some money and get something for the kids as like a thank you to the school for letting me use the school all the time. And I set a goal of like £1,000, and I did not think I was going to reach that goal. So I thought, okay, I'm going to set a goal of 1,000. Maybe we'll get £200. I'll get a bunch of random PE supplies, but it won't be anything, you know, it won't be anything major. But I ended up getting over £1,000. I got 1,030. I now have the money to be able to buy the table tennis table. I've now told loads of people I'm doing this ultra marathon, where normally nobody knows I'm doing it. So there was a lot of bloody pressure. And then when it got very close to the event, I was still having trouble with my left foot, which I think comes from last year. And I overtrained my right leg, where I had a slight bit of shin splints. And then the night before I did the ultra marathon, because I was bloody worrying, because I knew I'd raised all this money, loads of people were going to, you know, knew I was doing it, so I didn't want to foul. I was laying in bed and I was fucking pumped. I was ready to go. You know, I wanted to start at like 1 in the morning, because it was like, I couldn't sleep. And I ended up sleeping for 3.5 hours. So I was there at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning, setting all my stuff up, and I was like, shit, I am not going to finish. And then we did. We did finish. I think I ended up getting to the 30-mile mark 1 hour and 30 minutes faster than when I got to the 30-mile mark last year. And I ended up finishing 2 hours overall quicker than I was expecting. We finished in 9 hours and 9 minutes, with me just power walking back and forth. So that is another goal that we've achieved this year. It went beautifully. There was so much fucking pressure that I was putting on myself for no reason. Even if I didn't finish, I don't think anyone would have given a fuck. But because I knew that I told people, and then one person I think said to me, "Are you sure you're going to finish?" And that already pissed me off, because that sounded like that they were doubting me, and I don't like that. Don't fucking doubt me. So I made sure that I needed to finish, and we did. But whilst we're talking about that, I will answer a few questions, because a couple of people have asked me stuff in the comments. Some people at work asked me a few things. I don't know if they're going to see this video. And also some people in my family were asking me a few things. But somebody asked me what my end goal is, and I think I already replied to this in the comments. But what I basically plan on doing is I plan on keep on working myself up. You know, I'll probably keep adding like an extra 5 miles, maybe an extra 10 miles. Once we reach the 50-mile mark, then I might start going up in intervals of 10 miles, and then work my way up to 100 miles. When I'm able to do 100 miles, then I think what I want to do is try and do like a proper event, where it's a 100-mile ultra marathon. You have like little stations where they tend to your needs, give you extra water and stuff like that. Any problems with your legs or feet, they help you out and stuff like that. I think you have volunteers that do it, or sometimes you can take your own team with you if you want. And then there's sometimes a time limit. So that's the end goal. Do 100 miles, probably at work, just going back and forth. When I finally do that, then I want to do like a proper event and go against other people and see how I fare. Obviously the main objective will be to finish, and doing a proper 100-mile ultra marathon out in like the woods where it's different terrain, stuff like that. It'll make it even more difficult. So that's the ultimate goal. Another person asked me why I don't run, and there's two reasons for that. Firstly, I suffer with asthma, and even though since about 2012 my asthma has been a hell of a lot better than it was when I was a kid, teenager and early 20s, even though it's a hell of a lot better than it used to be, if I start running and I start getting out of breath, my lungs do seem to not be happy about it. I might not necessarily have an asthma attack or anything like that, but my lungs, obviously like you guys and girls about asthma, my lungs are a lot more weaker, so they do get a little bit pissy with me. And I would rather, at this moment in time, I don't, like this goes on to the second point, at this moment in time I don't really need to run, because I'm still finishing these ultra marathons in a reasonable amount of time. But as the distance increases and we start getting into the 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 miles, and the time limit starts getting, the time to finish gets higher and higher, then I'll have to start running. I won't have no choice, because otherwise we're going to be doing it for like 36 hours. So when I get to that time, I probably will start running. But at the moment, whilst I can avoid it, I'm trying my best to avoid it, just so I don't start running, maybe add a little bit of sprinting in there, which you shouldn't do anyway, and then somehow set me asthma off, and then I don't finish at all. So that's the main reason why I don't run. I'm just trying to be a bit careful, my asthma is very unpredictable now. In the past, it was just all the time, my chest was tight, wheezing, fucking chest infections, all the whole shebang, asthma attacks. It was a regular thing. Nowadays, it's like it waits in the shadow, and then when I'm feeling like really depressed and down, or I'm like really fucking angry, or I push myself too hard, like sprint for like just fucking 15 minutes sprint without stopping, then my asthma's like, now is the moment to jump him. So I've just got to be careful. And I think the other thing someone mentioned, I don't know if it was might have been my nan actually, maybe, but somebody asked me why I was putting talcum powder in my trainers, which, yeah, I think it was my nan, which confirms that she didn't watch my ultra marathon video, because I'm pretty sure I said in the video why I put talcum powder in my trainers. So just exposed me nan there. But yeah, I put talcum powder in my trainers because it helps to absorb moisture, because I would say the biggest killer of your success in an ultra marathon is blisters. You get blisters, oh my, I mean, if you saw my 30-mile marathon, you'll see it fucking ruined me. So if you get blisters, it can hurt to the point where you just have to stop, and you start walking weird, and it causes other problems. So it can be really, really bad. So by putting talcum powder in your trainers, it helps to absorb the moisture. I would say the good thing about this time is I still got blisters, so the talcum powder did help. But when I got around like the 34th mile, all the blisters decided to show up. But I think the best thing about the blisters showing up this time is I now know exactly where the blisters are going to be. It's happened in the exact same place 3 times now, on the 26.2, on the 30, and now on the 35. So next time I'll have to buy some of that plaster, like that plaster sellotape stuff you can get, and you can wrap your feet where you're prone to blisters, and then you won't get blisters at all. And then change your socks regularly so they don't get juicy with all of the sweat from you walking, or if it's raining or whatever. And change your shoes as well if you can. But yeah, that's why I was using talcum powder, because I didn't have any of that fancy plaster stuff, and normal plasters would just come off. So that's why I was using talcum powder, and it did help a lot. But in the end, still got the blisters, and I also ended up with a bit of runner's toe as well. But thankfully my toenail didn't come off. I'll show you a picture actually. Let me quickly show you a picture. Like I said, this is going to be a pretty big channel update where I'm talking about various different things. Yeah, there you go, look at that. Yeah, see? A little bit of runner's toe. But you can see it's just the blood under my toenail, but you can see it's slowly growing away now. So there's not really any damage underneath now. And I didn't lose my toenail. God, my toes still look like hell. Fucking crazy. But yeah. Oh, and also, here's the medal. I forgot to show you. I don't think I've shown this on camera. If you're on my Twitter and Facebook, you would have seen it. But this is the medal. It is the Washington, D.C. Virtual Ultra Marathon. And you can do it on the Conqueror Challenges. And I recommend if you ever do any of these medals on the Conqueror website, You can do it over the course of like a week to 18 months. Some of them you will have to do over time because it's like 2,000 miles. But if you do ones like this, don't do it over a week. Do it in one day. Challenge yourself. You can fucking do it, I promise you. But you've got the, I don't know if it's the Capitol building or what building that is. You've got like an American flag. And on the back you've got the Smithsonian Institute and a giant raptor or T-Rex skeleton. Very nice. Yeah, look at that, man. Fucking... I'm very happy with how that went. It feels like every time I panic and feel like I'm not going to succeed, that's where I absolutely slaughter it. It's crazy. But yeah, that's so that's the second thing we've achieved this year. Just wanted to talk about that a little bit because I've had a few questions and it might help you guys and girls out if you ever decide to do it yourself. Now, the third thing that I was aiming to achieve this year, and if you've been on my channel for a while, you will know that this has been something that's been an absolute nightmare, and that's to move out of my mum and dad's house and into a privately rented flat. Now, for those of you that don't know, I live in London, so it's already stupidly expensive, whether you're in London or trying to move slightly outside of London. Because you're close to London, it's still stupidly expensive. I'm now single, for those of you that might not have been on my channel for the last 5 years. I'm now on my own, so it's not like I'm going to be moving out with my ex-fiancée anymore, so that's a whole another person's wage that's gone. So it has been an absolute nightmare trying to move out of my mum and dad's. And basically, I have worked my way up at work to the point where I'm now earning enough money where I can afford 30 times the rent per year, which is the requirement for a lot of these privately rented places. And I think I need to find a place that's around about £855 per month or less. And the objective was to move out this October. And I have been looking within a 20-mile radius every single day. I've been looking, and I think the last time I remember there being a property on there that was 825. It was a crappy little studio place, but it was really ugly, really run down. It's so small because it's a studio. I'm a pretty big man, you know. I'm 6'1". I've got my weightlifting gear. I've got my YouTube gear. I've got so much fucking stuff that even if I take the studio, I think it's going to be a nightmare. But the quality of this place was awful, and that was back in March. And since then, not a single place that's in my price range has come up. Not even in August. So I've not been able to once again move out. I think basically I will explain to you all what the situation has been. The situation for me has been 2009. I met my ex-fiancée. I was 17, she was 15. Then at the time she was still in secondary school, and I had just left school, and I had just lost my first part-time job, and I was earning no money, she was earning no money. Then eventually I was getting a bunch of like money from just small temporary jobs, or I started doing cover work where I currently work. So I was getting a little bit of money. She was getting a bit of money from sixth form with like EMA and stuff like that. So we were using that money to be able to see each other because it was long distance and stuff like that. So all of our money was basically going on expensive trains and stuff like that, because she was up in Yorkshire, I was down here in merry old London. So all our money was going on that. 2012, we'd been together for almost 3 years. I knew I loved her, and that was when I was like, alright, I want to start trying to move out my mum and dad's. I started working part-time where I currently work. She had just finished an apprenticeship, so she was starting to get money from her admin job, and I started trying to get a council flat. So between 2012 and 2023 December, I applied 6 times for a council house. 6 fucking times. And I qualify in every single department. You know, I qualify in my earnings. Like, I wasn't earning too much. I didn't have too much savings. I had been living in my borough for the right amount of time. I'm a UK citizen. I fit the criteria in every single way. And even some of the other ways I was able to like sort of milk it a little bit with my asthma, because my house sometimes gets mold in it up in the loft. So I could even try and milk that a little bit. But despite everything I did, the first 2 times I can't remember why I was rejected. But the next 4 times, they rejected me every single time because I had adequate housing, because I live at my mum and dad's. So in the eyes of the government and the council, I'm never allowed to move out of my mum and dad's. The only way that you can get a council house is if you're a minority or if you're in like some sort of dire situation. Even homeless people don't seem to be given council houses anymore. So I don't know what the fuck their problem is, but I tried 6 times and every single time I was rejected. So I think around 2012 or 2013, I'd been rejected twice. And that's when I said to my ex-fiancée that we'll start saving up money as best as we can to put a deposit down on a house and buy, because it would have been cheaper. Neither of us could, well, I couldn't afford to rent privately in my area because it was too expensive. She was renting a tiny studio up in Yorkshire that wasn't really big enough for 2 of us, but it's a lot cheaper up there. But her intention was to move down here to London, so private renting was out of the question. So we started saving up money, and it was really slow because of all the money on trains I was having to spend, and in the early days, hotels and things like that. She was having to spend money on her studio flat and her car. So eventually I said to her, all right, come move into my mum and dad's. That way we can save money. She's down here in London. She can get a job down here. So then once we've got the money, we've already got everything set up with jobs and stuff, and then we can move out. And then she decided to break up with me when I was going through a really rough time. So then I was kind of fucked. I couldn't get a council house still. They kept rejecting me. I tried 2 more times after she left. I was rejected both times. I couldn't do private renting at the time because I was still, that was when I started cleaning the whole of the juniors. So I was working almost full time now, but still wasn't earning enough for private rent. Then the pandemic happened and everything went up by like 25% at least. So things got even worse, and I could no longer save to do a mortgage by myself. Like I couldn't afford, I wasn't earning enough to borrow enough from the bank. So I was fucked. And then that's when I started working my way up at work, increasing my hours, taking on more responsibilities, locking up the school. 2024 I started cleaning the infants as well, so I was now doing 3 people's jobs plus a little bit of caretaker stuff sprinkled in, so my money went up quite a bit, and now I could afford to rent privately. Then there was a lot of waiting around, waiting for me to earn the money for long enough, because you have to provide bank statements and stuff to the landlords to prove you've been working there for 3 to 6 months. There was a lot of waiting around. There was underestimates of what I was going to be earning. Then I got a pay rise thanks to a pay rise from the government. It was a load of fucking around. But in April this year, finally earning enough money to finally move out of my mum and dad's. And since I have been earning enough money to finally rent privately, providing they're cheap enough and not too far away, there's been no properties. There's been no fucking properties. And that's basically what it's been like for me trying to move out. It's been a fucking nightmare. So what I've decided to do, I've spent the last probably about a month now doing a load of maths, a load of fucking research, and it seems like what I'm going to be doing now is my original plan. I'm gonna go into buying a probably a 2-bedroom flat by myself, because I've been saving constantly since 2012, and even after the breakup, even after everything that's gone on, I still kept the the discipline, and I continue to save. The only time I've spent big money is if it's for YouTube or stuff that's like really important that I need to buy. But I've continued saving. I've got a load more money than I did have back in 2019. My earnings are now high enough where if I was to buy now and the property was like, let's say the property was 170, 180,000. If I was to borrow the rest of the money from the bank, my repayments for like 2 years would be like 500 and something, and then after 2 years my repayments would be like 700 and something. So that's still way cheaper than renting privately, and at the end of it I own my own house. So at the moment I'm basically, I think for the next like 8 or so months, I'm just going to keep saving money, and then when I've saved enough money to be able to afford all of the other stuff that comes with buying a place, having to pay for the person that checks the house to make sure it's worth the money it's worth, you know, bank fees, if I decide to get a broker to help me pay for their fees. At the moment, I'm just saving up a bit of extra money to pay for all of the stuff that happens in the process of buying a flat. So it seems like, once again, this goal is not going to be succeeded for another year. I won't be moving out my mum and dad's this year unless something drastically happens within the next couple of weeks. But it seems like I'm going to go down the buying route, which I've always wanted to buy my own place, because the way that I always saw it when I was a kid, I was thinking this back when I was like 13, 14, I kept thinking to myself, why would I rent, give somebody money, which is basically like a fucking hotel, especially when it's private, because you can't do anything with a place. Council were a bit more lenient, but with private you can't do fuck all. You can't even have a fucking pet. So why would I want to spend all my money on that when I could buy my own property, and then when I die I've got something I can leave to my kids, which I thought I would have by now, but that's another story. But, you know, so why not just buy a place, and then I can leave something to my kids or someone else in my family and change their lives, you know? So I'm thinking I'm going to stick with a buying route, to be honest, and it'll be a lot better, because then we can do some real life house flipper videos. But I'm in a position now where I very, very easily could buy. It's just having to save up a bit more for all of the fees, because it's a bunch of like hundreds to like 1,000 and stuff like that. So I'd probably save up like another 6,000 or something, and then I should be okay. And then also I won't have to borrow as much. And I'll probably do the mortgage over like 30 years, so I should be done. If I get it next year, I'll be 34 in December. So that means by 64 I would have paid off my place. Then I can retire, not got to pay no mortgage, have a lot more money for myself, can go and party for the next, like, you know, 10 fucking years before I die. So yeah, that's an update on the housing situation. It's been an absolute fucking nightmare. It's been an absolute nightmare. So 2 goals have been achieved, and 1 goal has been, I guess, delayed, but not through any fault of mine. I've been looking constantly. I wish I had my fucking search history and how many times I've been on Rightmove and Zoopla and on the market. Oh, fuck me. I've probably spent just as much time on there as I have making YouTube videos. So unfortunately, you know, it's once again delayed. For those of you that have been on my channel for the last 2 years, you will know I've been trying so fucking hard, and it's been pissing me off. So that's that. And the 4th objective of this year was to talk to that woman at work, which I think I may have briefly mentioned at some point in one of my other channel updates. But basically, there's a lady at work. She's been working there for a couple of years now. She has been absolutely wonderful to me. She has been one of the loveliest women I've ever met, and I've been trying to thank her and sort of go into a bit of detail about just everything that had been going on in my life, and just all of the shit that I was dealing with between 2019 and 2022, and just how much that she helped me for being such a lovely woman. You know, it has gotten to the point where I really do like her, you know, but I'm almost 100% sure that she's got a boyfriend. So I think that's why things have been a bit awkward for me. So I've been trying to talk to her, but because I don't even know if she has a boyfriend, I'm assuming that she does. If she doesn't, that's outrageous. I don't know why no man hasn't already tried to get with her. That's weird. But, you know, maybe she wants to be single, who knows. But I'm assuming she's got a boyfriend. So now firstly I've been trying to build up the courage, because ever since I went through the breakup, it's been very difficult for me to talk to women around my age. You know, I'm like very, very, very protective of myself now. You know, I don't want to let any women get too close to me, you know, because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to end up getting crushed again. So I've been very protective of me. So I don't like to say anything about myself. I keep all of the cards locked away. They're in that deck box, and then they're locked in a very tight cage. So because this woman has been so lovely and special to me, and I need to open up that safe and let some stuff out, it's very difficult, you know. And at the same time, I don't want to push it too far, where if she does have a boyfriend, she might not take it the way that I want her to take it, you know, if you get what I'm saying. So that's been one of my other goals, and that's been another thing that's just been really difficult. I did speak to her in June, and I said to her, I want to talk to you when you've got some free time. So I did finally build up the courage to talk to her, but then loads of shit went on at work. She never had any free time, and then it never got said. 2 weeks later, I messaged her, like emailed her, and I said, just I reminded her that I still want to talk to her, and she still hasn't come to talk to me. And then the 6 weeks holiday came, so it kind of, I'm a bit feeling a bit weird at the moment, because I'm like, did she just forget? Was she just too busy? Because what I want to talk to her about is nothing to do with work, and she's very busy, which I understand. But at the same time, I also hear her talking to other people about non-work related stuff sometimes. So it's kind of like, are you purposely not talking to me? Like, have I offended you? Do I creep you out? You know, now my brain starts going all over the place, and I start panicking that I fucked up, and I get very anxious anyway. So this is very difficult for me. I'm a lot better than I used to be in the past with the anxiety, but it's still there, especially around women at the moment. You know, women that are close to my age. I talk to the 50 and 60-year-olds and the 40-year-olds easily. Well, no, even 40 might be a bit of a push. But, yeah, so that's another objective that is, at the moment, it's to be determined, you know? Like all these fucking video games with no release date, to be determined everywhere. Pisses me off, that does. Oh, especially when they announce games like flipping 3 years too early, like that recently Jurassic Park Survival or whatever it's called, that new horror dinosaur game. But that's another objective that I'm hoping to achieve in September, because she is an absolutely wonderful woman, and what I feel like what I want to say to her will be the kind of thing that stays with her for the rest of her life, because this is not just a normal compliment, you know. Like, she, with how lovely she was, it fixed me emotionally. Like, mentally I was doing a bit better because of counselling, and I had my ways of dealing with things. I'd also started weightlifting, so physically I was stronger than I'd ever been. But emotionally I was, fuck. I mean, you guys and girls know I was fucked, and she really helped with that. And by helping with that, I have done such incredible things thanks to her loveliness, and I need to tell her, you know, and I want to tell her before the end of this year. So that's to be determined. Hopefully she clicks this video and knows I'm talking about her, because she now knows about my YouTube channel thanks to this ultra marathon. She'll probably be like, who's he talking about, and not even know it's her. If you're thinking it might be you, it's probably you. There's only one person I've asked to talk to twice, no one else. So yeah, if you see this video, when it gets to September, come talk to me. As you've probably noticed, I'm struggling, and I've already confessed quite a few things. But yeah, so that's that. And so that's the 4 things I've wanted to achieve this year. At the moment, we're 50% of the way there. Hopefully we'll end the year on about 75%. Unfortunately, the moving out once again has been delayed, and it's pissing me right off, you know. I'm 33, I shouldn't be living at home still anyway, but because of how the UK is, especially London, it's fucking impossible, especially if you're on your own and you're single. It's a nightmare. And even if you've got a really good job in London, you're fucked. Even if you've got a brilliant job, you're fucked. So, yeah, but that's the main stuff I wanted to talk about in this video. And one final thing I want to talk about, this actually pisses me off because I didn't actually want to spend any money, especially now that I know that I'm going to be going the buy-in route again. I've ordered myself a brand new computer because basically the computer I've got right now, it's powerful enough to render 4K 60 FPS videos, 30 minutes long, normally in about 4 hours and 30 minutes, depending on the game I'm playing. Because if you record like Horizon Forbidden West in 4K 60 FPS 30 minutes and you render that, it's probably going to take 5 hours compared to like filming 4K 60 FPS 30 minute long Pac-Man World Repack video. Even though they're both 4K 60 FPS and 30 minutes, the visuals of the game does play a part in how long it takes to render. But my computer has been having, since I got it in 2020, I have contacted Chill Blast so many times, and I was never able to send the PC in to be fixed or looked at because, one, I don't think they could replicate the problem because they would have to render a video to be able to replicate it. I told them all of the error codes I was getting, all of the blue screen problems I was having, and despite me talking to them for like a good on and off for about 3 years, it was never solved. And I spent £2,300 on that computer. Hang on a minute. Oh, I'm getting a call from suspected spam. What the fuck? Should we answer it on camera? Oh, the bastards are they? They shit themselves. They shit themselves. That fucking. I knew something was going to throw me off. It wasn't Zeus. It was a call. But because I've been having this cost me 2,300 back in 2020, and I feel like because of the pandemic, maybe they rushed it. But I've been having a lot of blue screen problems, and my computer just shuts down mid-render constantly. And because of that, and how much less time I've got now, thanks to working, you know, these 3 different fucking jobs I do, plus the weightlifting, all the other stuff I do, I'm getting less and less time, and the videos keep on rendering, and then mid-render it crashes, and I have to restart the render. So I'm ended up with loads of files on the PC. That's when things get deleted by accident, all sorts of mistakes. So I've decided to buy a brand new PC that is actually 63, I think it's 50% to 63% stronger than my current PC, and it's going to be arriving when you see this video, probably next week sometime. So that's another thing. I've ordered another beast of a computer. I went with Chill Blast again because 2 of the PCs they built me were fine. This one was dodgy, but I'm going to blame the pandemic. But I can resell a lot of the parts in my PC, like the i9 9900K. I can sell that for like a couple of hundred. There's a few parts in there I could probably get £1,000 for this computer. So my new one probably has 1,000 taken off of it. But I've ordered a new computer. Hopefully it works well. Hopefully the renders go down. Hopefully no blue screen errors. And yeah, we should be back on track. Especially because I'm going to be recording some pretty good looking games in September. And then we've got Ghost of Yoti coming in October. So yeah, but that's basically the channel update. I think I've been talking for like 40 minutes or something. So anyway, there's just a lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot of stuff I needed to get off my chest. But yep, thanks for the 10,000 subscribers. Thanks to everybody that donated to my ultra marathon, to my GoFundMe, so that I can buy the kids a brand new tennis table. Thank you to everyone that watches my channel, and I earn a little bit of money from, especially my channel members. A massive thank you to you all, because that bit of money helps me to pay for things for YouTube, like games and little bits of equipment, you know, like camera memory cards, things that just fuck up. Not PC, I don't earn enough money to buy PCs. That comes out of my pocket. But yeah, helps keep the channel running whilst I save money to move out my mum and dad's. And yeah, hopefully we get to talk to that lady at work, and hopefully it goes well and she don't, like, you know, get very creeped out or just slap me or something. I don't fucking know. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? She might love it. She might cry tears of joy. She might spit at me. Who fucking knows? Who knows? But yeah, thanks for watching. I need to drink some water. Sorry for chatting so much. Sorry for talking as fast as Eminem. And yeah, like, share, and join the pack today.